What do you think so far? Happy Wednesday, 10th day of April 2024. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us. It is 37 degrees, quite a bit of sunshine, a few high clouds. We're under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, but it's a flat ridge, not a dome. Domes act like domes. Clouds or weather systems come in, they bump up against the dome, they go around it, and they head on down the road. When you have a flat ridge of high pressure, that allows weak systems to pass through, and this is what we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of days with high clouds. Moving into the area, the clouds will be thickening up as the day progresses. We'll have lots of sunshine this morning, but you'll notice the cloud cover will get denser, if you will, as the day progresses. Lots of clouds this afternoon, tonight, most of Thursday into Friday, and then a beautiful weekend in store. It's a forecast I think you're going to like, and I'll give it to you here in just a few minutes. Whether you like the news or not, we're going to do the news. That'll be coming up as well. In sports, the Kraken won big time over the Mighty Ducks, and the Mariners played, plus all the high school sporting results from Tuesday we'll have for you. And in the back half of the program, as you know by now, the Chief of Police for the city of Wenatchee, Steve Crown, will be retiring come June. And so our very own Jefferson Robbins, our news director, had a chance to sit down with Chief Crown in his office, not far from where I'm sitting, to kind of, have a little exit interview, if you will. He's been the Chief of Police since 2016, but doing a good job, too. He deserves retirement, so Jefferson Robbins in his conversation with Chief Steve Crown, you don't want to miss that. That'll be in the back half of the program. So it's a busy show. We've got a lot to touch on today, and let's do what we always do, go around the valley in north central Washington with our cameras. That is the Wenatchee Heights camera. We're just pointing it down towards Rock Island so we can see the sun come up, and you can see the high clouds hanging around, and I mean they're way up there, but the clouds are going to be thickening up and dropping down in altitude as the day progresses. Sunrise this morning is 6:21. Sunset tonight, 7:44. That's 13 hours and 24 minutes of daylight. I'm really liking the longer days, but we're now at the time of the year where with the sunset at 7:44, that's about bedtime for me. If I want to get my solid 8 hours in, that's what that's what it is when you do morning television. You go to bed pretty early because you get up really early. Let's go up to Leavenworth. Check out the Bavarian Village there. There we go. Beautiful view there. Looks like the snow continues to melt in the Cascades, up the Icicle and the Enchantments. Leavenworth is greening up and looking good. Good morning to Leavenworth. One of my favorites has got to be Billy Goat because you can just see so much with that incredible view from our Billy Goat camera. That's what we call it, the Billy Goat camera, because it's Billy Goat Mountain, and there's a lot of goats, a lot of goats up there, a lot of mountain goats hanging around there. Good morning to Pateros, to Bridgeport, to Brewster, Omak, Okanagan, Riverside. Can't forget about Riverside. You can see the Methow there, of course, flowing into the Columbia at the bottom of your screen. It would be great to show the Methow Valley, which is off to your left, but that's where the tower is. All you'd see is a big hunk of aluminum, and that doesn't do you any good. And let's go all the way down to just outside of Royal City. That's a little sliver of the Columbia River you can see. Royal City is behind that camera. You can almost make out Wahluke. That camera is a long way from here. That's a good, well, it's a long way from here, but it's one of our newer cameras. We thought we'd show it to you going down near the Royal City Wahluke area. You can see a little sliver of the Columbia River down there. That's how far these cameras can go. Pretty darn impressive. So is the Sky-Fi technology, although I must admit, I don't understand it. From the National Weather Service, the weather pattern is going to be pretty quiet for the most part. Again, sunshine for most of the day, and then the clouds roll in as the day progresses, and we'll top off about 61. It's going to keep us a little cooler than yesterday. We had 63 yesterday, but we did have a lot of sunshine. 43 for the overnight low tonight with lots of clouds. And again, because that high pressure ridge is a flat high pressure ridge, it's going to allow a few clouds just kind of hanging around. There's no rain at all in the forecast for Thursday and Friday. It's just going to be overcast, just about 61, our afternoon high, and our normal high this time of the year is about 60. So we're going to be hanging right around the normal mark for the next couple of years, and a big bump up on Saturday. Here comes lots of sunshine and very warm temperatures. How about mid-70s on Saturday? Mid-70s on Sunday. Can't ask for a better weekend than that. It's almost like it was planned that way. Then a big cool down, a big cold front comes in overnight Sunday into Monday. And by Monday, we're going to be chilly for those overnight lows. We'll be back down into the 30s for the overnight lows on Monday and Tuesday. So there is a cold front coming in. It's going to bring us some breezy conditions Monday and Tuesday, but that's then. Saturday and Sunday looking good. Make your plans for the weekend and make sure you can get outdoors because you're going to want to do exactly that. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the news for you on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWF channel.
It's me, Blippi! Blippi's back on stage with his brand new Wonderful World Tour.
I'm an excavator.
Sing, dance, and make new discoveries. In Blippi, the Wonderful World Tour with special guest Mika.
My name is Mika. Yeah, it's nice to meet ya.
For tickets and more, visit BlippiOnTour.com. Blippi, the Wonderful World Tour.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
I chose Pinnacles because they embrace and lift people with different learning styles.
It's a school where I can be myself, creative, and be successful.
There's a lot of hands-on activity, and
you get to really connect with the community here because we're all one. We get to see each other often. It's a small building.
The teachers care about you and make sure there is equity in the classroom.
They take care of them as a whole. They see them as a name, not a number.
The Honda you want is here, so drive in the moment with the versatile CR-V or Accord. Both named a Car and Driver 10 Best. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2023 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Lots of sunshine in the Wenatchee Valley with a few high clouds, 38 degrees. You'll notice the clouds thickening up and dropping down and hanging around this afternoon and for the rest of the week, but the weekend looks good. Just about 8 minutes after the hour, a rural Wenatchee man is dead after his mobile home caught fire. This happened Sunday evening. His name, Randall D. Main, 68 years old. He was found deceased inside the home when crews from the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department arrived. This was just before 7:30 in the evening on Sunday in the 2100 block of Chapman Road. That's just south of Wenatchee. Fire Chief Brian Brett said the fire was largely burned out when responders got there because the flames had consumed most of the oxygen. Main was the owner and sole occupant of the residence. The cause of the fire is under investigation. 2 Quincy men were arrested early Saturday morning after an alleged carjacking right here in the city. Police said they caught 28-year-old Pablo Jovain Tapia behind the wheel of a Lincoln Navigator just before 1 a.m., shortly after the vehicle's owner flagged down an officer to report it had been stolen at gunpoint in the 900 block of South Mission Street. The Navigator then sped away across the Senator George Seller Bridge and south on Highway 28 when police stopped the SUV 4 miles outside of East Wenatchee. The passenger, 20-year-old Marcus Chavez, allegedly threw a 9mm semi-automatic pistol over the guardrail. Well, police say they found the handgun as well as video evidence from their dashboard cameras that showed Chavez trying to dispose of it. Both men face possible charges, including vehicle theft, unlawful possession of a firearm, and DUI. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies are warning there's another scam out there. They've gotten multiple reports of people getting fake phone calls. The phone calls are attempting, apparently, to get money from you for failing to respond to a jury summons or failing to appear for a scheduled court date. The Sheriff's Office, of course, reminds everybody to never give out personal information or money over the phone if you don't know who these people are. It is a scam. Cashmere Valley Bank will be hosting a scam prevention seminar, by the way, on April 16th at 7 o'clock to help consumers protect themselves against scam attempts like the one we just talked about. The event's at the Pybus Public Market and doesn't cost you anything to attend. The Wenatchee City Council is going to hold their meeting tomorrow, not in City Council chambers. They don't do this very often. It's a special meeting tomorrow. It's going to be actually held at the Wenatchee building. That's on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. It starts at 5:15. But the public is invited to a Meet the Council function that will start 1 hour earlier at 4:15. The idea is for Wenatchee residents to get to know who their council representatives are, as well as Mayor Mike Poyer, who's now 4 months into office. Also on the agenda tomorrow, the council will consider whether to ban the possession or exhibition of wild or exotic animals following citizens' concerns over the traveling circus that's coming to the Toyota Center this weekend. Eastmont Principal Lance Noel heading back to the classroom next year. The longtime educator told us that it was always his plan to end his career as a teacher, and that his path to principal came because he was encouraged by the leadership of the Eastmont School District. Since announcing his departure, the greatest compliment, according to Lance, has been the reaction from parents of students who don't want him to go.
To have students angry at a principal who's saying they're stepping out, like, who gets that? Parents, they're awesome. I mean, they're supportive, and they're like, yeah, you know, you're going to do great. But, you know, I've got a younger one coming up, and I wanted you, like, that's, how cool is that? And I think a lot of times sitting in these jobs, you can make a lot of enemies. You know what I mean? People may not always like your decisions or when you hold people accountable, but overwhelmingly it's been, we're not happy you're leaving. That's amazing. I think the biggest accomplishment is if you ever want to be small town famous, be a principal, and a high school principal in a small town. But it's always those conversations I have every day, everywhere I go, that are parents, grandparents, ex-students, current students, younger students coming up, and they talk to me and tell me their stories. And it's cool. It's really cool. And I think the human accomplishments would be by far the number one. I'm not in any hurry to retire. I mean, I feel like I'm old, but I'm not that old yet. But I'd like to go at least like 8 years, 8, 10 years. I don't know. I'm going to work in what's called our Opportunities Program. It's our alternative program. We don't have a separate alternative high school, but I run it now as the principal here. So I have the high school and the alternative program, so it's a lot. Want to do a lot of work on it, make some changes, kind of update it. And so I'll be there teaching a lot, which will be fun, and then also kind of running it. But it's going to be cool. I would say if you were coming to Eastmont to be the next principal here, you're lucky. It's a great school. It's a great district. You live in an amazing town. I've always had so much support from the staff and community. The community here is amazing. Like, I talk to other principals, and it's not like that for them as far as the support I get here. You know, a lot of times I'm apologizing, you know, because I made a mistake. But if you're coming here, I'd say you're fortunate. However, if you're coming here, I hope you care about the people first. The logistical stuff, yeah, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with the graduation requirements, the credits, the discipline, you know, all those things. But you need to form relationships. That's what makes Eastmont special.
And that's what's making news on this Wednesday. If you're interested in what's going on in the north central Washington area and the Wenatchee Valley, we have a newscast, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10 on television. If that doesn't work in your schedule, or you want to watch it online, or you just want to watch it whenever you want to watch it, we'll take care of you too. Our newscast each Monday through Friday will be up and running right around 5 o'clock on our Facebook page, on our homepage, ncwlife.com, on our YouTube page, and on our app. And of course, you can't watch it using our app unless you have our app. And there you go. Pick up your smartphone and get clicking away at the QR code, and you are good to go. And if there's something out there that you think warrants the newsroom's attention, you send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Still to come, sports, the Obscura holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everyone's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. And Jefferson Robbins in his conversation with the outgoing Chief of Police for the city of Wenatchee, Steve Crown. You're watching a busy Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
It's a great time to go into the medical profession, and this is the perfect place to start. because this is going to provide you that basic understanding in order to get into medical school, physical therapy school. So when you are ready to head on your career pathway, wherever it is, then you've already had some experience and say, oh, it's so cool. This is exactly what I want to do. So really, you're going to leave me with 13 college credits and a license with the state of Washington.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Crown Furniture knows the most important part of a healthy and productive lifestyle is good quality sleep. The Englander Mattress Company is dedicated to manufacturing the best mattresses made in the USA. Englander chooses the finest materials made in the USA with a drive, dedication, and attention to detail, earning them a 99% satisfaction rating. Stop by Crown Furniture today on South Wenatchee Avenue and save up to 35% on select Englander mattresses.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
17 minutes after the hour, Bo Pichette hit a 2-run home run. Chris Bassett pitched 6 2/3 innings and looked good doing it, by the way. And the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Seattle Mariners 5-3 last night. The Mariners have now dropped 6 of their last 7.
7 in a row fouled off. Now that's the 3rd one. That's a balk. They didn't know it.
You know what happened? Too many foul balls. He lost track.
Yeah. And this is why the umpires, when they call a disengagement, when the pitcher steps off or throws over, the first time they'll do it, they'll with each hand say that's the first and then that's the second, and we clearly saw them signal it's the second, and you can see all the umpires signaling that's the 3rd. So that's a balk on Kirby, and eventually gets a base hit. Varsho had to break back. He's making the turn. The throw comes into second, and he will score in an absolutely whale of an at-bat from George Springer after fouling off 8 pitches in a row.
A terrific at-bat for sure.
It's 2 down, and here's Bo Bichette, and it's launched to left, and this one is gone. Bo Bichette with his first of the season into the 2nd deck and left, and it is 3-0 for the Blue Jays.
Kind of rough, who picked up his first RBI as a Blue Jay in the game last night.
This is well hit. Right center field, and that's going to get down and split the outfielders and score Biggio with ease. It'll be a double for Kiner Falefa, and it is 4-0.
Well, what a good swing that was. A breaking ball on the outer part of the plate, and Biggio's going to coast around 3rd and come in to score.
Still a runner in scoring position. 1 run in this inning for the Blue Jays, who lead 4-0. George Springer up 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the 3rd.
George Springer lines one into right for a base hit. Kiner Falefa around 3rd, and he'll come in to score. 2nd consecutive RBI single for Springer, and it's 5-0.
Down Canzone. Well, that's hit well left field. A lot of carry. That thing's getting out of here. Down Canzone. He has some pop. 3rd home run of this young season, RBI number 6. Show us the chef's kiss if you.
Seattle's going to try to avoid this sweep. It's also the last game of their 6-game road trip. It's an afternoon affair. As a matter of fact, Logan Gilbert, the right-hander, will take on the Blue Jay lefty Yusei Kikuchi. First pitch is at 12:07. American League West scoreboard: A's beat the Rangers 4-3. It took them 10 innings, but the Royals got by the Astros 4-3, and the Rays took care of the Angels 6-4. As far as the Kraken are concerned, Shane Wright scored 68 seconds into the first period for his 4th goal in 4 games since being called up from the AHL. Philip Grubauer made 39 saves for his 2nd shutout of the season. Seattle, no problems with Arizona last night. The final was 5-0.
Forward lines, defense pairings, top of your screen. Shane Wright sneaks it home. Thank you, Emerald Queen Casino. Thank you, Shane Wright. And the Kraken are off and running with 18:52 left in period one.
You get in on the forecheck, you're able to win your one-on-one battles. This line has done such a good job of close support. Quick play from Everly over to Wright. Little backhander off the glove of Vemelka. Doesn't necessarily matter how it goes in. A little bit of a flutter there, caught him off guard, hits the bottom of the glove and goes in. One he'll definitely want back.
Andrei Burakovsky in full flight. Shane Wright has given the Kraken an early lead. Bjorkstrand to the outside of Josh Brown. Lays it back for Schultz. Out in front of Chip doesn't work. Burakovsky scores! A Berkey Bullen on the short side. Power play goal. 17:46 left in period one. 2-0. Seattle. It's loose along the boards. And the Kraken will get it out. 2-on-1. Bjorkstrand with Schultz who has it. He scores! That's hockey, baby. Perfectly executed 2-on-1. The maestro to Justin Schultz. 3-0 Kraken. Tanev taking away his vision. Hits a support. Gord goes barreling into Zuber. He gets it. Across. They score! Brandon Tanev on the weak side. It's turbo time. 4-0 Seattle. Puck is available. Bjorkstrand's on it. A reset. Alexiak now Borgen. A shot. They score! Beniers out in front. Borgen from downtown. 10:25 left. They'll talk about it. Will Borgen will get the goal. 5-0.
Kraken have won 5 of their last 7. It helps when you're taking on the bottom feeders of the league, and they'll do that again tomorrow night with the San Jose Sharks in town at 7:30. All right, big soccer match last night at Wildcat Stadium. Eastmont sneaks by the #1 ranked team Davis. The final was 2-1, so Eastmont improves to 6-0 in Big 9 play. Davis drops to 5-1. Of course, Eastmont and Wenatchee will do battle on Friday. We'll have that for you here on the NCAA Live channel. Panthers set up the big match with their Cross River rivals by beating Eisenhower 3-0. Ephrata snuck by Ellensburg on the pitch. Quincy beats Kashmir 3-1, and Cascade beats Omak 9-0. The Cascade boys soccer team, undefeated, ranked #1, have outscored their opponents 41-3 in soccer this year. Wow. Among the smaller schools, Manson stuck by Bridgeport. It's Brewster over Liberty Bell in a shutout. Okanagan shut out Pateros, and Tenasket beat Orville by that same score. Prep baseball, Wenatchee snuck by Eisenhower. The final there was 3-2. Eastmont over Davis down in Yakima 6-3. Look at that score. That's not a typo. Kittitas beat Cascade in non-league action 28-1. Quincy in Caribou Trail League action snuck by Kashmir with a couple of late runs. The final there was 8-7. Okanagan got by Tenasket in a low-scoring affair. Liberty Bell beat Brewster by 10. Prep softball scoreboard, they split their doubleheader. Eastmont won the opener against Chiawana. It was a non-leaguer, 4-2. Chiawana came back to win the nightcap, 9-8. Wenatchee got by Eisenhower, 17-10 in girls fast pitch softball. Among the smaller schools, Kashmir beat Quincy, 20-7. Manson victorious over Cascade. Brewster over Liberty Bell. Okanagan beat Tenasket. Republic sweeps Orville in 2 big scores, 28-15 and 36-16. Look like football scores. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 24 minutes after the hour. Happy National Siblings Day. There's me and my siblings. I mean, think about it. Your brothers and your sisters, probably the longest relationship you will ever have in your life. That's about 1971, I want to say. That looks about 1971. We have something a little more contemporary. This is about 9 years ago. As you can see, none of us has aged terribly at all. So this is all about your siblings today. If you got siblings, good for you. It is National Siblings Day. And by the way, siblings that have the same parents as those 9 people there do, you share 50% of their DNA. If you're half siblings, so you have one common parent, you have about 25% of their DNA. Happy National Siblings Day today. Thank goodness we all get along. There are a lot of families whose siblings don't. Can't figure that one out. It's a mystery to me. 25 minutes after the hour. Today in history, there are volcanic eruptions, and then there's this. The largest volcanic eruption ever in recorded history. Mount Tambora in the Philippines, in the archipelago there in the Philippines, Indonesia actually, it erupted for 3 months. It blew, what, 5,000 feet off the top of the mountain. It killed 71,000 people. It set so much ash and gunk up into the air, and it stayed there at about the 40,000 foot level in the atmosphere. It went all the way up to about 140,000 feet. Then the ash came down a little bit, and then it went all over the earth. And the next year, 1816, became known as the year without the summer. Summer temperatures in Europe the following summer, with all the sun couldn't penetrate, all the ash in the air, it was the coldest of any summer on record between the years 1766 and the year 2000. It destroyed crops, it killed animals. 1816, the year without a summer in North America too. Crops failed, livestock died. There was a famine, for crying out loud, because that baby blew its top and it erupted for 3 months. More people died of starvation than actually being in the path of the volcano. That was on this date 209 years ago today. There she goes, 112 years ago today, April 10th, 1912, the RMS Titanic leaves Southampton Dock in England, destination New York City. We'll keep a close eye on this. The Titanic is on its way. We'll check in on Friday on this. 54 years ago today. Paul McCartney made it official. The Beatles insiders knew it was a matter of time. John had actually told the rest of the group a number of months earlier he was going to leave the Beatles once they got all their business entanglements taken care of, and there was a lot of them. This time it was Paul's turn. George had left the band. Paul talked him out of it. Ringo left the band. He was coaxed back into the fold by Paul. John coaxed back into the fold by Paul. Then when Paul quit, the other three said, okay, the Beatles disbanding. 54 years ago today when Paul said, I'm out of here, and they all said, well, I guess we're done. The nice thing about that, think about it, the Beatles never had a down period. They never had a period in their career like almost every significant major artist of their time or any time where they did some bad stuff because they just stuck around too long. Perfect timing, I think. And 35 years ago today, on the first pitch in his first at-bat at the Kingdome, Ken Griffey Jr. steps to the plate. Welcome to Seattle, Jr.
And now has made the club and is going to play in center field for them. Whips that one to left field. First swing is deep. Kittle back. Goodbye, home run! His first swing at the Kingdome.
That's how you introduce yourself to the home crowd. That was on this date in 1989, 35 years ago today. Birthdays. Joseph Pulitzer, a heavenly birthday. Founded the Pulitzer Prize, of course. His newspaper, the New York World, had the largest circulation of any newspaper in the world. And the Statue of Liberty would not be in New York Harbor without Joseph Pulitzer. The idea was the French gave us the Statue of Liberty as a gift. Here it is. It's all yours, but you got to build the pedestal to put it on. And they didn't do it. It just sat there in crates, the pieces of the Statue of Liberty. Boston said, we'll do it. Philadelphia said, we'll do it. It would cost about $100,000 to build the pedestal. And New York just didn't do it. And Joseph Pulitzer said, we can't have the Statue of Liberty anyplace except in New York Harbor. And so he led the fund drive, the fundraising effort, to build the pedestal. It was very simple. If you donated to the pedestal fund, be it a penny or $100, he put your name in his newspaper. And everybody liked to read their name in the newspaper, at least back then. Joseph Pulitzer, born in the state in 1847, changed American journalism forever. Another heavenly birthday, Harry Morgan. Born 109 years ago today. He did, of course, Officer Bill Gannon on the color episodes of Dragnet from the 1960s. I still watch those all the time because I think they're hilarious. And, of course, Colonel Sherman Potter and MASH, and many, many movies and other television shows. Harry Morgan, born in the state in 1915. One more heavenly birthday, David Halberstam. Would have been 90 years old today, one of my favorite favorite authors of all time. All of his books are good. I've read them all. His history of the American involvement in the Vietnam War, The Best and the Brightest, is an absolute must-read if you really want to understand what happened in Vietnam in the 50s and 60s. We missed David Halberstam. He was born in, say, 1934. We just saw Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run. If it wasn't for this guy, we wouldn't have Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Sr. is 74, and of course he played with the Mariners for a little while as well. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air, for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. You know the heat of summer is coming. You want your AC working, baby. Give Alpine Air a call. They'll come out and give it a little physical, if you will. Make sure you're ready for the heat. Special thanks to our friends at Pool to Spa Services. Speaking of heat, get yourself a pool. Don't know how? Go see them. Pool to Spa Services on Worthing Street. And special thanks to Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista. Mike Magnotti's got an opinion. Is society going to hell? We'll find out from Mike. And then Steve Crown, the chief of police for the city of Wenatchee, sits down with Jefferson Robbins on the eve of his retirement. That's coming up too. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. We can lift this up and lifetime warranty.
Great, I want that one. I would like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Local cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, some people like to point out things that they feel are indicators of our downfall as a society. Things like differing sexual identification and people with gender issues, lack of respect of authority, and the rise of substance abuse, to name a few. These are just some of the things that people think are indicators that our society is falling apart. Well, you know what I think is a real indicator of societal demise? Storage units. My gosh, what is wrong with us that we have to accumulate so much stuff in our lives that first we need to totally negate the purpose of a garage and then have to leave our cars parked outside, but then we actually have to rent a space that a third world family would consider large enough as a 2-bedroom home in order to store stuff we aren't even using anymore. Now look, eventually your stuff is probably going to be featured on Storage Unit Wars, where some hillbilly has paid $250 to claim the stuff you thought was priceless and had to be saved. And to pay a monthly fee to do it. Oh my gosh. All right, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right, all year round. Right now, bring home select BX and L Series tractors for 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months. Contact your Kubota dealer for details.
Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life. He came on in 2016 as our police chief, and now he's going to leave that post vacant for somebody else to try and fill his shoes. Chief Steve Crown with the Wenatchee Police Department. Thanks for letting us stop by today.
Thank you. Yeah, glad to have you.
I appreciate it. The middle part of June is your last day here, and from what I was looking at your resume, Chief, you go in 11-year cycles. You were 11 years as a Wenatchee Police patrol officer. You were 11 years with the State Fish and Wildlife Police, and now back here in 2016. You haven't been here very long, but a lot of things have changed in that time frame.
Yeah. 8 years here with City of Wenatchee as a chief. I would say that this last leg of my career has been the most rewarding. You know, I think it's special. I think it's absolutely amazing to start your career. Of course, it was in a very old building. That building was made in 1930, and when I started there, it was under much different circumstances. We worked 8-hour shifts. Today, you flash forward, and the patrol works under 12-hour shifts, have amazing equipment. It's just here you sit in a very nice, newer building, bigger department, a lot more capacity, but ending your career in this department, I think it's a full circle and an amazing career to be able to do that.
What kind of differences, I mean, some of them should be obvious, but between fish and wildlife policing and policing in a small city?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have changed my career for anything. The path that I took, being here in the first place, being able to do the things that I did starting back in 1991, working as a detective, working as a street crime unit guy that specialized in gangs, and being able to be a detective working mostly in street crime, persons crimes type stuff, and then going to Fish and Wildlife, which I was able to pair up my love of being a police officer with being out in the nature of our great state, seeing such amazing beauty in this state. It was a dream come true. Amazing differences in landscape too. One day you would be over in the sagebrush of eastern Washington, and the next day you could literally be on the San Juan Islands working salmon fishing. Yeah, there's differences in the type of enforcement, but it all comes down to knowing the laws of the state and being able to enforce them in a very proactive way. That's, I think, the biggest difference between, let's say, conventional law enforcement and natural resource law enforcement is a lot of the calls for service in, say, municipal policing. A lot of that is call driven, meaning you're getting dispatched to a lot of different calls. Not so much in a natural resource law enforcement world where a lot of it is proactive work, which really drives a lot of game wardens, and that's what is really exciting about that job is you're really being proactive out there and protecting the resource. As you get up and promote through organizations, there are some similarities. You're dealing with a lot of budget, you're dealing with strategic thinking, organizing, planning, directing, guiding organizations. So some of that remains the same. When I was with Fish and Wildlife, dealing with a $40 million biennial budget, you had to know how to really direct activities and make sure that you're being fiscally responsible while also meeting the needs of a big department. So those skill sets really did help me get prepared for coming here to Wenatchee too. So,
did you want to come back to the Wenatchee Valley for specific purposes, family, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. When I asked my wife, when I heard that Tom Robbins was going to retire, I asked her, I said, hey, I was informed that there's an opportunity over in Eastern Washington, and she said, I asked her, do you want me to apply? And she said, absolutely. This is something that we both agreed upon would be great for us to finish out both of our careers in coming over here. So competed for the job, and here I am.
The Wenatchee Police Department has grown in the number of officers by about 10, from 38 when you came in as chief to 48 now. Does that reflect a different kind of needs in the city that you've seen come into play since you came on as chief?
Yeah, I mean, there's been obviously the growth that has happened. The old station annexation is part of that. I think that there's been increasing need on many fronts. The calls for service have gone up considerably. I think when I first started here, there were somewhere in the neighborhood of about 18,000 to 19,000 calls for service. We're up around knocking on 24,000 calls for service right now. Mental health continues to be an issue. I think fentanyl is a big issue. I think from 2022 to 2023, we had a 12% crime rate increase. I think that there's definitely some current concerns in those areas.
One of the things that you brought on board, and many departments have adopted this, is body cameras, body-worn cameras for recording encounters between police, the public, investigations, that kind of thing. What do body cameras do for a department? What kind of advantages do they bring?
I think one thing is you always look for opportunities for public trust, transparency, and how you do your business. Body-worn cameras is absolutely one of those mechanisms that help you achieve that. It's kind of an open book. It is also a way of representing evidence in a courtroom that is second to none. It gives context, but not all of it. You have to be aware of that, and yet also attorneys, both for the defense and for the prosecution, have to be aware of that. And it's not the end-all be-all, but it certainly is a very useful tool in that respect for court. I think it is a useful tool for the officers, that any sort of complaint that's lodged against them is captured on video. It changes behavior. It changes the behavior of the suspect, knowing that they're being videotaped, and it also changes the behavior slightly of the officer too, is knowing that this whole thing is being recorded. So I think it's beneficial in several aspects.
Speaking of behavior, I don't know if it was commonplace in the 1990s when you were on patrol, but behavioral health is now something that police have to take into account and use as kind of a tool in their toolbox. How has that changed? What kind of role does behavioral health play in policing now?
Well, I would say that behavioral health and homelessness are they're intertwined. They're absolutely, you can't separate the two. And I would say that the third leg of that stool is substance use disorder. They're all so intertwined. Back when I first started in 1991, yeah, you had alcohol was a huge thing where Yeah, you had a detox center which was open. You could drop off an individual. They can get short-term, long-term treatment. And as far as a mental health, it was much different. You had the ability to involuntarily detain an individual. There was always that aspect, but you had Eastern and Western Washington where that was more of a resource, where slowly that changed to where it was only they were only used as a diagnostic center to see if they were able to stand trial. Were they competent to stand trial? So I think more and more of the treatment and even the detention side of it was pushed more back to the local level, and the local resources really did not have the facilities or the funding to really deal with the problems that were in the community. So you had this festering issue that continued to grow. And so that's one thing that I've seen over the years, is that this state continues to struggle with that.
And the idea of behavioral health units working with local police is simply to try and address that problem and intervene before it becomes a criminal matter, really.
Sure. I mean, the best possible way of dealing with that is to work further up the stream before you have a more crisis type event, is to work with the individual further up the stream and get them the resources that they need. And sometimes that's medication, sometimes that's counseling. All of that is more important in the early intervention versus when somebody is literally in crisis and causes either crime, there's other victims involved, families become frustrated, and I think that's really what our community struggles with right now, and there's a ton of criticism about that with our service providers. And I'll be the first to admit is that law enforcement is woefully ill prepared. We are a point in time. We are not case managers, and we can't continue to follow somebody longer term. And that's an extreme frustration, is that we continue to deal with the same people over and over again, and we don't really have the facilities to put them in.
Well, one of the points at which people are going to say, where's a police officer when you need one, is probably in traffic enforcement. They see a speeder, they see somebody running a light, they really wish there was some kind of mechanism or some kind of enforcement happening there. But you've tried to take steps toward establishing stronger traffic enforcement in Wenatchee. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we made it a priority by actually working with the Washington State Traffic Safety Commission. We got a grant through the Traffic Safety Commission, and it actually helps us with salaries for 2 officers and a half salary for a sergeant. And that grant runs through 2025. The city takes on full burden for that traffic unit, but they're dedicated not only to being out there to enforce traffic safety, but they're also designed to put together different types of programs, education, to try and think about more meaningful ways of getting traffic safety to the forefront, whether it's programs for bars, taverns at closing time to have safe travel home rather than getting behind the wheel and being intoxicated. Street racing, being able to reach out to those that have the modified exhaust, individuals that are gathering, just doing some of those education pieces to try and work with individuals. It's working right now. the statistics show that a lot of stops are happening. Only about right now in the first 2 months of the traffic unit starting, which was in January, only about 50% of folks that are stopped are getting citations. That's going to probably ratchet up towards the summer as we switch from mostly education to the more enforcement. But school zones are absolutely every parent's nightmare, is that their kid walking to school. We want to be really emphasizing to slow down in those areas. Some of the high volume areas, like around the high school, Pioneer School, we want to make sure that people are taking and recognizing that their driving behavior matters in our city, and it's been wildly successful. Even some of our folks that are receiving some of those citations have came to our traffic bureau window and said, "Hey, I got a ticket, but I'm glad you guys are out there," and so that's been positive.
Are there projects, Chief, that you've started or undertaken that now, with your retirement coming up, you're just not going to be there to see them all the way through? Things you want to see continue?
The list is long. I mean, this job, that is the one thing I will say emphatically about it. There is no way that you're going to stick a flag in the top of the mountain and say you're done. And it is continuous. Some of those things that have been in the local newspaper and other outlets have been a firing range for law enforcement. It's an indoor range, and that is a long project. That's a long game. It has to be done. You've got to be a good neighbor. As this valley continues to grow out, you know that we're a landlocked valley, and you're going to see more and more houses come in here. If you want to have a place for law enforcement to train, it makes total sense to have an indoor range where the report of guns don't bother your neighbors. I think that there are a ton of projects on the front of looking at how we deal with substance use disorder and what are the gaps within our community, whether it's at the front with law enforcement, where's the warm handoff with the criminal justice system, at the prosecutor level, the service provider end with getting them into substance use treatment, to drug court, all the other sources. We've got a program right now with University of Washington Clears program to do some of that gap analysis. So that's going to be a project that has to be carried on. Continue to work with our partners in every facet. Child abuse, work with SAGE, and putting on education training with schools, parents. That's going to continue to move on. What do we do about homelessness and some of the RVs that they're camped out along our streets? There is certainly a component that it's not against the law to be homeless, but there are certain behaviors that are associated with parking your RV on a street that are, so there's a ton of initiatives that come with this job that are going to have to be continued and soldiered forward with the next chief coming on board. It just simply is not going to somehow pause.
What's your next step, Chief, personally?
I suspect that I'll be doing some consulting with maybe some executive search for some governments that want to find bright new minds to take on jobs like this. I suspect I'll be doing some other consulting for some agencies when it comes to use of force and some other things associated with law enforcement. But I'm not at liberty yet to say I've signed a contract with anybody. So.
Well, you've had 40 plus years to think about this, Chief, so the last question is, what is a police department's obligation to the people that it's serving?
I think the obligation to the public is to put forth the very best in its people that it puts in the uniform. It is really that what is in their mission statement, they need to live up to it, and that is every police department has a version of that: serve and protect. You know, it truly does get down to that, and you do that through your people. In this department, in the last 8 years, this is a staggering statistic. In the last 8 years, we have hired 50% of all of the staff in this department. Literally all, with the exception of one of the supervisors in this department, have been promoted. That's unprecedented growth, but that has been the focus for the last 8 years. That's the one thing that I can say that I'm most proud of, is that the folks that are in this department are well situated to take on whatever comes at them. There has been not only the growth, but the training, the education to handle whatever comes at them. There's been some tough stuff. There's been officer-involved shootings, there's been use of force, there's been big cases, and they've all done exceptionally well. And I'm extremely proud of how they've came through all of that. And I expect that they have a lot of good years ahead of them as well. So that's what makes this decision a lot easier to do.
Steve Crown, winding down your time as Wenatchee Police Chief, thanks for letting us come by.
You bet. Appreciate it.
You're watching the NCW Life channel.
Come on, I'm a certified technician. I was trained to take good care of you.
9. I've only been to the dealer.
I've been coming here for years. These guys are great.
Look around. The BMW, the Jag, the Volvo, they're all waiting for regular service. Well, the BMW has a little computer issue, but that's nothing we can't handle. Come on in.
From regular maintenance to computer troubleshooting, trust the Global Car Care technicians with your import, diesel-powered, or domestic vehicle. Global Car Care. They speak your car's language.
Dankeschön.
Sit pretty with spring savings, now at Boswell's. Get $200 off all stressless recliners and ottomans, classic power-based recliners, home office chairs, and each seat of a stressless sofa, love seat, or sectional. Plus, get 10% off the new stressless Sky mattress and $50 off each stressless Laurel or Mint dining chair. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
All right, time to wrap up this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The high clouds are starting to filter in a little bit, and this is what we're going to see today. We're under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, but it's not a dome, which usually radiates heat and keeps all the inclement weather away from us. It's a flat ridge of high pressure, and that allows the high clouds to float in over the top of it. And that's what we're looking for the next couple of days from the National Weather Service. One more look at your forecast. 61 today with filtered sunshine. As the day progresses, the clouds will be dropping down in altitude and thickening up a little bit, but there's no rain in the forecast, just increasing clouds. Again, 61, which is about what we hit yesterday. It's about normal for this time of year. Cloudy and dry tonight, 43 for the overnight low. Cloudy and dry Thursday, 61. Friday, just like Thursday, rinse and repeat. Lots of clouds, but no rain, and a high of 61. And then how about this for a weekend? How about bountiful sunshine at about 73 or 74 for the afternoon high on Saturday? Just a little cooler on Sunday with a high of 73, and then a cold front comes in on Monday. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.